We start you off with some All-Star Circuit of Champions action from the Orange County Fair Speedway as the field would go green, and oh baby, baby, look at the mighty wings go. Sammy Swindell will take the early lead as Stuart Friesen on the move on the outside lane in that number 1 Z machine, making it work as he's going to go to the top side, looking to chase down Mike Mahaney up on the outside lane as they work their way through the corner. And you know, that Friesen guy, he was just in the truck earlier in the day. Look at him going a sprint car now, working it off the corner as he continues to work his way up toward the front of the field in that Hallmark International machine. I mentioned Sammy Swindell in that Zimbardi-owned entry. He is way out in front of the field in this one, continuing to click off laps one by one as the field works its way down the back straightaway. A great field of cars down at the Orange County Fair Speedway as they continue to push toward the front. But as that happens, Stuart Friesen with a little bit of trouble coming down the front straightaway as it looks like a left rear shredded tire. We'll see if he could make it back up toward the front of the field. Off the restart, Poli Giovanni working his way on the inside of Mike Mahaney for position up through turn number 3 and 4. And here comes Friesen once again working it up on the outside lane. Boy, he was fast in this one, cranking it down off the corner as the caution will come out for Tyler Esch down the front straightaway in the 5 machine. Off of the restart, here's Friesen working it up once again, trying to click off a few more cars as there's just about 5 laps to go in this one as Swindell continues to lead this one up at the front of the field. Friesen working his way around on the outside. They weren't catching Slammin' Sammy though as he picks up the win out at Orange County. Swindell with the win, Caleb Helms with a strong second place finish, Brandon Spithaler finishing in third, Poli Giovanni fourth, and Stuart Friesen rounding out the top 5. To the sportsman division at the Albany-Saratoga Speedway, stand demand night, all 3. The big features going 32 laps the distance in this one as Chris Rocca would take the early advantage. Jamike Soul going to get into Jim Osgood a little bit up off of turn number 1 and 2. Meanwhile, Osgood gets caught around a number of cars, going to stop up in turn number 3 and 4, and well, I call that a parking lot party. I don't know what you guys would call it, but that's what I'm calling it. 3 wide is Rocky Warner working his way up on the outside. Jack Lehner and Freddie Proctor in there as well as they flank their way up through turn number 3 and 4 as Warner going through smooth. Off the corner, you can see him go again on the outside lane, looking to take a position away as he's working his way toward the front of the field. And you know when it gets slippery, Rocky is at his best as he works it off the corner as Adam McAuliffe having a little trouble down the back straightaway. That would bring yellow out on the speedway here in the first 10 laps of this event, with Jamike Soul way out in the front of the field in the 7-11 machine. Off the restart, Warner going to work his way into the number 2 spot with a lot of laps to go as he would get by Jeremy Pitts for position, pushing it down on the inside. Now try to go to work on Soul as the caution will come out for a number of cars. Up in turn number 2, Freddie Proctor, Elliott Lucier involved, Chris Rocca there as well. Off of the restart, here's Warner with a shot trying to get to these inside of the 7-11 of Jamike Soul that time, but Soul too strong up off the top, getting a great run off the corner. Meanwhile, John Miller's car on fire, and what a great job by John Miller getting out of the car very quickly. Glad to see he is okay as crews continue to go to work on that number 12 machine as a tough break for the drive of the Esco Electric entry. Off the restart, Warner going to give another shot on the low side. Keep this in mind as we move toward the rest of this highlight as Soul continues to battle it off as the caution will come out again for a couple of cars involved in turn number 3 and 4. Off of the restart this time, Warner tries to go to the high side, but Jamike Soul runs him out of racing room up off at turn number 2, sending him off the back straightaway. That allows Jeremy Pitts to get by as Soul would sneak by and end up picking up the win, his first of the season out at Albany-Saratoga. Rocky Warner, on the other hand, well, he let Jamike Soul know what the rock was cooking through turn number 3 and 4. Rocky not happy in this one as these two would battle it out a little bit through turn number 3 and 4, and you don't see Rock get mad too often, but in this case he definitely was. Modified feature event now, 32 laps the distance. Jim Nagel up at the front of the field along with Matt DePew as they would lead the field to the green flag. A little bit of trouble early as a car ducks underneath in front, as Bobby Hackle out front, not Matt DePew. DePew was behind him in that number 667 machine as they work their way down the back straightaway. Brett Hearn and Ronnie Johnson fighting for position now through turn number 3 and 4. Jersey Jet looking for elusive win number 899 on the field as he would still work with the 1RJ of Ronnie Johnson as those two would battle it out as two veterans of the sport in the modified division continue to fight for positioning. Off the front straightaway they go once again as Hearn that time would get by the 1RJ machine while go to work on DePew for positions right behind Matty D and Jim Nagel, who were putting on a great battle right in front of him down the backstretch. Ronnie Johnson that time giving a shot in the back bumper of DePew as he tries to get by Hearn, and now Hearn as DiLorenzo and Nagel slide up the banking. Here comes Hearn just keeping it locked on the bottom with some great racing prowess into turn number 3 and 4. He's going to get one, then he's going to get them both off the turn number 2, and he would continue to move his way up through the field. As that happens, he takes the lead as that car you saw going off at turn number 1, that is Bobby Hackle, your early race leader, who was gone in that full throttle RC entry, as that would now give the lead to the number 20 machine. Mark Johnson and the 111 and Demetrius Strellis going side by side through turn number 3 and 4 as Ronnie Johnson and Matt DiLorenzo continue to fight for position. As that happens, Brett Hearn continuing to work his way down the backstretch as yellow will come out for Bodie Bellinger and Jim Nagel as Bellinger caught the Ute tire up in turn number 2. A tough break for the 18B machine. Brian Gleason also having some trouble as he would go off the banking on the back straightaway, which would set up another restart here with just 8 laps remaining in this feature event. Neil Stratton trying to go to the high side right here. Demetrius Strellis not giving him any room as the 87 going to go up off the banking in turn number 3 and 4. And Neil Stratton not too happy coming down the front straightaway in this one as the second generation driver from Bennington would have to pull it into the pit area. Off of the restart, Matt DePue trying to stay in front of Brett Hearn, but Hearn continues to push it up on the outside lane here with just 7 laps to go as he would work his way on the outside lane off of turn number 4 and continue to lead this one going away down the front straightaway. He would continue to push as the caution will come out for defending champion of Mark Johnson, who got tagged by Elmo Reckner in turn number 3 and 4. A tough break for the 3J machine as they work their way off the corner again. DePue with another shot off the restart on Hearn. But I've seen Brett Hearn do this too many times. He'd work his way up to the top side and continue to hold position up off of turn number 2 as the Jersey Jet continues to lead this one down the back straightaway. He would power it up off of turn number 3 and 4 and win number 899 for Brett Hearn as he picks it up. Matt DePue with a strong second-place run. Ronnie Johnson would finish in 3rd. Batman Peter Britton 4th. And Kenny Tremont would round out the top 5. To the Valley of Speed we go for some pro stock action. Nick Hilt up in the front early. Keep an eye on Ricky Duzlak working his way down the back straightaway as the 29 works his way up. Here's Jason Meltz now on the inside along with Duzlak trying to fight for position as they battle it through the corner. Stephen LaRochelle right there as well. And Jason Meltz with a smooth run off the corner going to take the position away off of turn number 4. Meanwhile, here comes LaRochelle working his way on the inside of the 17 of Nick Hilt for the race lead up off of turn number 2 with Jason Meltz right there in tow as they power down the back straightaway. Chuck Dowsley going to get himself involved now as he is a fast rocket in that number 23 machine, pushing it down on the inside lane. He moved into a top 3 position, now working his way on the inside. With the 51, he'll go 3 wide, looking for the race lead down the back straightaway. And what a battle this was as Meltz tries to slide up on the inside lane, trying to take the position away down the backstretch in that number 51 machine. He'd take the lead, but Townsley right there until looking to take control right behind him. They power it up off of turn number 2 as they come down the front straightaway. Meltz would be your leader. Hilt still right there, and Townsley still lurking right behind them as we move toward the closing stages of this event. Meltz would eventually get by the 17 machine as Townsley pushes up off of turn number 4. Hilt pushes up off of turn number 4, allowing Townsley to take the spot, and then the same thing would happen for Jason Meltz as Townsley just slides it underneath him as he would take the race lead away coming down the front straightaway. Meltz trying to catch that number 23 machine up off of turn number 4, but as they come down the front straightaway, all Chuck Townsley in this one as he picks up the double checker flags from Rodney Rescott. To the modified division we go, heat race action. A tough break for the 87X of Paul Gilardi. He hits hard after a brake line goes down after contact. He would be okay, but what a hard hit as we move to the modified feature event. Now in the early going, Kyle Hoffman, the man in black, working it up on the inside lane. Kenny Tremont getting into the 42 of Kyle Sheldon up off of turn number 2 with a little bit of contact down the back straightaway. Sheldon would have a little bit of trouble and a tough break for that number 42 machine. Off of the restart, Keith Black and Brett Hearn, 2 top point getter so far on the season, works it down into turn number 3 and 4 as Black tries to keep it up on the top side. Hearn working to the inside. Meanwhile, as that happens, J.R. Hefner going to sneak by as L.J. Lombardo has some trouble down the back straightaway after contact with the 45 of Wayne Jelly as they work their way down off of turn number 3 and 4 and come down the front stretch. That would leave yellow out on the speedway as Lombardo, nowhere to go, comes up to a stop in turn number 3 and 4. Off of the restart, Matt Papello still with the race lead down the backstretch, but trouble coming off by turn number 4 as a few cars get halted as Hefner going to lead the field down. Caution would come out as Jezio will come down the front straightaway with little trouble as they work their way down the front straightaway again. Another restart coming in front, and yellow lights come back on as for the second straight time, the 74 beats the 42 to the line. This time, though, they come down the front straightaway. It would be a clean restart, but working them up into turn number 1 and 2, a great race for the lead. J.R. Hefner, Rubbins Racing goes to the inside lane and would take the race lead away from the 42 of Matt Papello down the back straightaway as Hefner would be your new race leader up off the corner. Meanwhile, Hoffman going to try to work with Brett Hearn as Hearn trying to do whatever he could to get by that DKM fabrication car. Couldn't do it, but J.R. Hefner picks up a big win in the big blocks at the Lebanon Valley Speedway. Matt Papello not happy with the race down in front as J.R. Hefner picks up the victory. Marshall would finish in the number 2 spot. A great run for Eddie Marshall. Matt Papello would finish in 3rd. Kyle Hoffman 4th, and Brett Hearn would round out the top 5. To the Fondant Speedway we go now for some sportsman action. Rocky Warner all over the back bumper of Tony Ferrone now down the back straightaway as the Flying Onion looking to hold them off. Here's Warner working it up on the outside, and Warner, short shoot, Cow Palace. You've seen it many times at the Fondant Speedway. He'd working them down off of turn number 4 as Rocky Warner would get by Ferrone for the lead. And do I have to say how this one was going to end? Rocky Warner picking up another victory at the Track of Champions. To the Pro Stock feature event now, as Jamie Warner looking to fire on the inside. AJ Walters says, I'm going on the outside, and he's going to fire away and take the number 1 spot up off at turn number 2. Power down in front. Meanwhile, car slowing off at turn number 2 for a split second. That's the 5 of Cosselman. Randy Cosselman, that is, down the back straightaway as Kenny Gates going to look to get by. Going down, and now Jay Casey. Papa J, that is, there with Ivan Jocelyn working his way on the outside. Ivan Jocelyn having a very strong season at the Fondant Speedway so far, working it down on the outside to turn number 3 and 4 this time as Jocelyn would power it up off the corner. Meanwhile, they work their way through turn number 3 and 4 once again. Now as here comes Jimmy Normoyle up on the inside lane trying to battle, but Jocelyn just too strong on the outside of that 94 machine as he's trying to run down Walters before this one is all said and done. Jocelyn with a great run moves into the number 2 spot and looks to lurk. Meanwhile, trouble on the 715 of Gus Hollner as he would work it back around up through turn number 3 and 4. As they come off of the corner, they bring him down the front straightaway once again. Here comes Ivan Jocelyn working it down the front straightaway, trying to get by the 22 machine of Walters as they bring him up through the corner. But Jocelyn a little too strong, but the caution will come out for Cosselman once again through turn number 3 and 4. Now Jocelyn going to have to deal with the 322 and the 324 of the Casey boys up off the corner as Jay Casey trying to run down that 94 machine of Jocelyn down the back straightaway, but Ivan Jocelyn just too strong off of turn number 4 as he would go on to pick up Joe Chris's checkered flag and pick up the victory. To the modified feature event now is right away. Darwin Green going to look to take advantage. Sean Pangman right up there in that number 34 machine as well. And Pep Karate had the early race lead, not for long as Darwin Green, as Sean Pangman put it to me, where did he come from? Up on the outside lane, down the back straightaway, he would fly. That number 1 machine would be the race leader. Ronnie Johnson going to sneak by Tim Fuller up on the outside lane as they head down the back straightaway looking for position once again. Meanwhile, Darwin Green still out front, hits the outside wall but keeps it going. Darwin Green looking for his first full feature event win. He did pick up a triple 20 a year ago at the Fondant Speedway as Josh Hohenforce and Pep Karate continue to go side by side for position down through turn number 3 and 4. But way out in front, Darwin Green picks up the win as the number 1 goes to victory lane, and you know it was going to be a celebration after. Hohenforce would finish in 2nd, strong run by Justin Buller coming home 3rd, Tim Fuller 4th, and Ronnie Johnson would round out the top 5. To the Ulster County Bullring we go for some midget action up and over. Oh boy, Shane Graham, that ain't good. Oh God, that ain't good, especially with not much but a roll cage up on the top of that thing. Sportsman feature event at the Accord Speedway. Matt Schultz would take the early race lead in this one. I'm not sure where I got Brandon from. As he's battling Corey Cormier up off of turn number 3 and 4 this time as they fight down off the corner. Cormier with a great run on the outside lane, but Schultz just holding on to this one as that number 20 machine again off the restart trying to power through. A little bit of trouble behind him though as a number of cars kind of get together, and that would be, my friends, a yellow flag coming down the front stretch. Back to the battle out front as Schultz continues to lead this one down the back straightaway. He's got Cormier right behind him as they push through turn number 3 and 4 as they power it up off the corner, but the caution will come out as Milton Mann goes around up in turn number 2. That would bring out the yellow again. Schultz out in front, Cormier right behind him trying to pull this one off on the outside lane, but once again just couldn't get there as Schultz would barely hold on to pick up the win. To the modifieds now, Joe Judge going to take the early lead in that 3J machine, working it up off a turn number 1 and 2 as they power off of the corner as they look their way down the back straightaway once again. Here comes the 16 machine of Danny Creedon fighting his way up through the field. 3 wide battle behind him as they fight for position, and what a battle it was as Danny Tyler trying to work his way up, but the aforementioned Danny Creedon and DC Express working it up on the top side. He'd move into the number 2 spot by powering it around up off the cushion as they work their way up off at turn number 2, and he's looking to chase down Joe Judge, and it wouldn't be long. That 16 machine, that Smoker's Choice entry, working it down off at turn number 4. He would work his way off the corner and take the race lead away as they continue to fight. Meanwhile, Ricky goes around. A number of cars go around as well as Richie Urich fights his way around as a tough break for him, but meanwhile here comes Danny Tyler trying to push his way up past Joe Judge. He would get that position away, but they weren't getting by Danny Creedon, who would pick up the win at the Ulster County Bull Ring. To the Orange County Fair Speedway for some sportsman action and a tough break for Trevor Arnold, the relative newcomer at Orange County, as he would go up and over a very tough ride for him, as crews would be there right away. But meanwhile, we get back to the racing action here in this one. Dan Morgowitz right there along with the 4 of R.J. Smith on the outside, but Matt Schultz going to continue to try to push his way up through this one, up off the corner. But Leah Fotopoulos and Jeff C. Leiby going to try to have something to say about that here in the early going, as Leiby, a strong runner here in the sportsman division, works his way off of the corner in the number 2 spot, but he would have a little bit of trouble as Leiby would slow down the back straightaway, and that would bring yellow out once again. Off of the restart, Schultz would reassume command. Morgowitz right there, and Fotopoulos looking to take the number 2 spot, working it up on the outside lane as Schultz would go back in command of this one. Morgowitz holding on to a strong second place run up off of turn number 2 as he tried to battle his way down the back straightaway. Meanwhile, Fotopoulos right there as the field works its way down the back stretch. Some great racing behind him, working for position as they try to push up to try to get to the 24 machine, as Austin Smith with a little bit of trouble down the back straightaway, as that would bring out the yellow once again. Off the restart that time, Fotopoulos working his way on the inside, trying to get by Morgowitz for position. As he powers to the inside lane, he's not only going to try to get Morgowitz, he's going to try to get the 24 machine of Schultz, but he couldn't do it that time down the back straightaway as they worked their way down off of turn number 2 and into the turn number 3 side of the speedway. But a little bit of trouble as, R.J. Smith almost got catapulted into the goalpost, as Tim Pitts said. That was a tough break. Meanwhile, off the corner here once again is Fotopoulos going to try to power on the outside lane. They're wheel to wheel, door to door, not door handle to door handle like I used to say, as the 555 machine powers it down off of turn number 3 and 4. Fotopoulos would take the race lead away, and oh baby, baby, what a race this was for the sportsman division. Up off of turn number 1 and 2, a car going to go around in turn 2, which would bring out the caution once again, which is what Schultz was going to need in this one. Keep an eye on the 24 machine. And Tim Pitt's going to say, oh, baby, baby, one more time off of this restart, as it looked like Schultz had the rabbit's foot in this one as he pushed his way up on the outside. The rabbit's foot, the swoop beneath the sheet metal, whatever you want to call it, as Schultz would power up off of turn number 2 and take that number 1 spot away off the corner as he would look to pick up back-to-back wins. 1 at the Orange County Fair Speedway and 1 at the Accord Speedway, and that would be the case, as it would be the driver of the number 24 machine, Matthew Schultz, picking up the win at Orange County. That'll do it for this week's episode of Quick Time. A special thanks goes out to sponsors of the Flat Companies, Cannon Auto Supply, La Rochelle Auto Body and Restoration, Cranes Outdoor Power Equipment, Tom Saban, and Bobco Media. I'm Mike Warren. We'll see you next time at the races.